All right, and welcome to another episode of RevivalFlix, where we try to find old classic films and maybe mention them again with today's perspective, today's knowledge, and maybe like maybe a movie was produced ahead of its time and didn't get the right credit, and now it's kind of like a second chance, or maybe also present to the younger audience, and of course, talk about films, debate about about whether a film is good or not, or some of its flaws, or some of its highlights, and so on. So the intention here is just like to stimulate the community, and I'll of course encourage anyone to create also channels and post reviews or criticism about their favorite or not so favorite films. And yeah, let's get to it. So today's film, it's called Lemonade Joe, which I'm gonna review. This film is from a director which I've known about him because of the work in this channel. So if you've been following the work here, you probably watched or uh, maybe checked out in the videos that I posted, a review about Happy End. So, how did I come about this film? I was doing actually another review on Irreversible, which was a very good film that was done, I think, around 2002 and so on. And it has that mechanic of storytelling, but backwards, So it's a very interesting movie, very hard movie to watch. If you're into like very very hard movies, please watch this one. This one is like like a punch in your gut, so anyway, I was doing a review on this one on Irreversible because I had postponed, such so many times, to watch this movie, and then I finally, doing all the work in this channel and so on. I said, oh, okay, let me watch this movie and maybe make a video about it. And it actually was up until this moment, right? I think it's the most viewed video yet. It's like it has almost 2,000 views. I had three subscribers. I even know them by name, so it's a very small channel. But anyway, back to actually Irreversible. So I had done a kind of like a small research in GPT, because actually when you think about like stories that are told backwards, you actually, I know one which is like iconic, which is from Chris Nolan, called Memento. So this film uh, is like, I would say, it's like a lesson for script writing. This is an awesome film. If you didn't watch it, please watch it. Stop everything that you're doing now and watch this film, especially if you're a Nolan fan. It's like one of his early works. So it was done, I think, maybe in 2000. So, Irreversible was done in 2002. Memento was done in 2000. So I said, oh, okay, so this is not new. I'm already familiar with this type of storytelling and so on. However, I had a hard time, like to think about other films that were done uh, in reverse order, right? A reverse narrative. And then I consulted GPT. Okay, so I know Memento, I know Irreversible. Can you tell me another films that are also told backwards? And then it listed like five films. All of five films I was not familiar with. Of course, we know about films that are not like a linear, right, timeline. It goes back and forth and so on. Maybe a flashback or whatever. But what I was what I was after was like movies that were fully like told in backwards, right? So Irreversible is one of them. Memento is a much more complex plot around it. Irreversible is interesting because you change your emotions as you go backwards, right? In Memento is something different that happens there. You kind of like you change your perspective, or what uh, details about the plot, right? That changes as you go back. And then there was one of the movies that GPT kind of listed was one called Happy End, which was from 1967, and it was a a Czechoslovakian production. So that got me really curious. I thought, oh, okay, so let's see what they thought would be like a movie done backwards back in the day, like way back, right? So my expectations were pretty low, with this film. And then I watched it, and then I got my mind blown away. If you didn't watch this film and you're into this type of uh, a different kind of mechanism of storytelling, please watch Happy End like yesterday. It's really really great. Really, one of the best, for sure, the best movie I watched this year, 2025. But it was a really really good surprise. So I instantly became kind of like a fan of this director, Oldrich Lipsky. So I'm just gonna tell a very very little about this Happy End film, which is told backwards, but it's not like the conventional backwards that we think about, like scenes, like full scenes, full linear scenes, but backwards, right? So we have one scene, and then we have another scene that happens before, and then we have another scene that happens before. This is like what we think of like a movie told backwards, right? But actually, Happy End, it's like way way more sophisticated and complex. So it's an actual backwards film. So the even um, the motions, right? The how the actors move, the characters move, and so on. Their their lines are in backwards. I mean, they don't talk in reverse. Sometimes they do talk in reverse, but just like to get to give that effect and so on. But the actual movie, it's all reversed. Like the lines are linear, but they're told in reverse order. It's it's such an awesome movie, and as soon as you get into that, and then you realize how much work they put into it, like the planning and so on, because they had to keep at some level simple but also complicated enough to be an interesting plot and so on. It's amazing. This film is amazing. This is for sure, I would say, one of my favorite films of all time. Anyway, so I researching, like the director, and then I instantly, when I watch like an unexpected good movie, I try to watch like what he did afterwards, and like a movie that he did afterwards and a movie that he did before, because maybe like to get into that level, to get a chance to do such a great movie, maybe he did something that wasn't really known, but it was like pure talent, and then someone gave him a chance. That's my reasoning behind it. So yeah, so I did that with this director. However, I watched a film that he did afterwards, after Happy End. It was kind of a letdown. It wasn't like a bad movie. It was a good movie, but I was expecting more. Like the Happy End put my expectations, like so high. That I thought there was gonna be more. I did a review about this movie called "I Killed Einstein, Gentlemen," and this director has such curious titles, in his movies. So I picked that one, like a follow up, like to see if he would maintain, the quality, and he had a really good rating actually in IMDb. But in my opinion, it wasn't what I expected to be. It was good. It was good. Had interesting plots there. I did a review about it. Check it out if you have a chance, and then decide if it's worth watching or not. But then I went back and watched and picked Lemonade Joe, which was done in 1964. So it was before the Happy End movie, right? And I must say, this is great movie also. It's a treasure. It's a gem. We found another gem. I for sure 100% recommend watching this movie, and especially because of the reasons that I'm gonna lay out as we get deeper into the review. But let's just cover like the basic data from the film. So it's from 1967. In IMDb, the rating, it's 7.4. I'm actually going to rate it now as I do this podcast. I'm going to rate it as a 9. Happy, and I also put as a 9. I'm gonna get into more details why I'm putting this such a high rating. So directors Oldrich Lipsky. Again, I wasn't familiar with him. Of course, I don't know anything about like Czechoslovakia and film, especially in the filmmaking and so on. But just just watching these three films, I get like such a good impression of their cinematography. I mean, for example, the I Killed Einstein Gentleman. As I said, it wasn't as great as I was expecting it to be, but it looks like a Hollywood production. So so I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed, and I do suspect that many of Hollywood's filmmakers would have these, at least the films done by this director, as inspirations. I noticed a lot of details that we can connect to other films. I explain a bit about that in I Killed Einstein Gentleman, but I'm not gonna spoil my own video here in this review. But if you're curious about that, watch it. It's a time traveling theme, plot. So it's interesting. Watch the review and then think if it's worth watching the film. Anyway, so we have the writers Oldrich Lipsky, and I love when directors are also the writers. I give a lot of credit when they when they try to control other parts of the film. I simply respect that kind of attitude. Anyway, so he also wrote it, but together with someone called Jiri Brdecka. Man, I'm for sure butchering the pronunciation on this, um, but he did other films with Oldrich Lipsky. So I'm probably gonna watch another film of his. There was one that it's kind of like also high rated in IMDb, which is The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. Never heard about this movie, but since it's highly rated, these two already are doing partnerships with, and it was like a later production. I think is going to be worth watching. And in this film, we also have the participation of Vladimír Menšík, which was the main character from Happy End. But in this film, in Lemonade Joe, he did kind of like a secondary actor, like a not so important one. But it was funny, like just to be like a familiar face in the film and so on. So yeah, let's get into the review. Okay, so Lemonade Joe, it's basically a western, but it's a very different western. I mean, let's remind ourselves that we're talking about 1964. So it's a comedy, but it's also an adventure. I mean, at that time we already had like adventures, like in westerns and so on. Comedy also, but actually, I did research because I mean, when we think of comedy in westerns, we think of Trinity, right? Let me actually let me actually get the right name. So they call me Trinity, which is from 1970, and Trinity is still my name, which is from 1971. So I did research if Trinity was done before or after this film. If you're not familiar with these two films, it's Bud Spencer and Terrence. Let me get his name real quick here. Uh, this is not it. This is not it. Maybe this is it. So it's Terrence Hill. Terrence Hill. These two films, I mean, they did a lot of films, in partnership. So it's very good and very funny. It's good. I think there could be some connection with Italian production. I know that there were some Italian Western produced. I'm not sure if this would be the case from the Trinity films, but I know that there were heavy influence. At least the director was Italian, that's for sure. But maybe an American production. Anyway, so let's start with the main aspects of Lemonade Joe. So it's comedy. It's good comedy. It's black comedy. It's like dark comedy, what they call nowadays. But it's very well constructed. I would say the rhythm is good. It's like, for example, if you watch Lemonade Joe and you watch one of the Trinity films, at, right from the start you're gonna see like a difference in terms of the rhythm. This has like a modern, like editing wise, or maybe just the rhythm of the acting and so on. I'm not sure how I'm gonna describe this, but if you watch one of the Trinity movies, you're gonna see, oh, okay, so this is like an old movie, so it has, like it's slower, the pacing is it's another type of pacing, right? But if you watch Lemonade Joe, which was done before these films, right, and in Czechoslovakia, you really get impressed because it's like, you could be fooled even, maybe, oh, okay, like Schindler's List, right, that they did a movie in black and white and so on. And I mean, if you just watch that film like randomly in the TV, you would be fooled, right, that that it had been done like in the past, but it wasn't. It was like in the 90s and whatever, right? So I think it would also be the case. Of course, if you're lucky enough to get a very good quality copy of it, which is kind of hard in the internet. I noticed that they said that they were playing in Plex or whatever in some of the apps and so on, but I couldn't really find it. I had to download it, from somewhere and whatever. I'm gonna try to maybe put the link of where I downloaded from and so on. But anyway, it's not so hard to to get this film. I think there's even probably full copies in the YouTube, like legally, for you to watch it. I'm not sure if it's gonna have the right subtitles, but it's not gonna be hard also for to get the subtitles. Anyway, I rate it as a 9. This film is like the statics alone, like with the weird yellowish, picture and so on. But actually, it actually changes the color schema throughout the film according to the atmosphere that it's trying to create. I thought that was amazing, coming from like a graphic design, web design background and so on. I give so much value in that. I think they did a really awesome job. Like the sets, also spectacular sets, and the movie is actually fun. They created like memorable characters. Not only I would even say that the main character is not such a highlight, but I think, like the villains and the side the side characters and so on, they were amazing. They were amazingly constructed. The ending, in these films, in these old films, they actually didn't know how to end well. I thought this ending was kind of like weird and actually good because it ended how was supposed to end, but then they made kind of like a twist, like for everyone to be happy, within it. I thought they played very well there. It was a very good experimentation. I remember there were some chaotic scenes. They were really really fun, and I can imagine, the planning. For you to plan a chaos is not easy. I tried it already. I did some experimentation with film production and so on. It's not easy for you to plan out a chaos, right? So they did a really really good job with this, and again, I noticed a pattern of them, of like a cartoonish style of acting or directing, or maybe mashing it together with the music and so on. There are some parts, of not only this movie but also um, Happy End, and also I Killed Einstein, Gentlemen. There were some parts of it that it resembled kind of like a cartoonish style of acting, or of filmmaking. It's interesting, but it's live action, so that was really curious, really curious. Let me know your thoughts about this type of observation. But yeah, this is something. This film is a must watch if you if you're into classic films or old films and so on, you must watch this film. If you're into Western, you must watch. If you like the Trinity films, you must watch. Don't be fooled, like just because it's like a Czechoslovakian movie or whatever. Don't be fooled by that. It's worth it. It's like a very, very high quality film. I would for sure recommend this to any audience at all. And then this is where we see that the director did have like the I would say the skills, to pull off happy end, which in my opinion it's superior to this movie. But this movie, it's something. It's something. It's really really something. And yeah, I think I covered all the topics that I wanted to talk about this film. Again, I would say that this would for sure be an inspiration of the Trinity films. I would be willing to put my money on it. And yeah, let me know if you do get a chance to watch this film. Let me know what you think. Please leave comments about this film. I'm curious to know what other people think about it. Also, not only me, reading, IMDb and so on. I want people really to, chime in, and participate, in the discussions. And I hope you like this one. I hope you do get a chance to see it. And of course, never late, like to reiterate again and again and again. Please create your channel and post criticism and reviews about favorite movie series and even TV shows. I'm about to do maybe a review about a couple of TV shows that I also stumbled upon while doing this. And again, I'm telling you, this is fun because you get to research a lot of things, and then you stumble upon something totally unexpected, and then maybe you put light into something that was done in like tons of years ago. And I think that's always kind of like curious, especially like for you to comment with your friends and someone who also like to discover something new in the world of movies, cinemas, and so on. Okay, so see you in the next time. Later.